I am so excited to finally visit Herget. This place has been on my list for ages, not just because it's known for being a beautiful spa town with incredible gardens and amazing food, but there's also a very specific reason that I've wanted to come here, and I'm really excited to check it out. Well, we have a fun day planned today, and I can't think of a better way to start than with a cream tea at Betty's Tea Room. This is the Herget one. Jeremy and I went to Betty's in York the first time that we went to the UK and had our very first afternoon tea at the one in York. Lovely experience. I'm very excited to check this one out because from what I remember, it was a top-notch experience. Look at all of the window space and the nice views that they have of the park and the greenery. That clotted cream is the best. That is really good. And you're right, it does kind of taste like shortbread. I have never tried Fat Rascal, but this is, I think, like the famous thing you have to try at Betty's, right? Betty's did not disappoint. I think one of the things that's really fantastic about Betty's is, you know, there are those places where they're so popular that you're not sure if they're going to be worth the hype, but Betty's is worth the hype. Everything was so good. The scone and clotted cream was perfection, and I'm really excited to take the Fat Rascal home and try that later. So we'll definitely try that later. Why are you laughing at me saying Fat Rascal?
I'm really excited to take the Fat Rascal home.
Reading the information about the history of Betty's on the menu, it was actually started by a Swiss guy. So we were wondering, why is it called Betty's? And we asked our server and he said it's actually unknown who Betty was or why it was named that. And that a couple of the prominent rumors are that Betty was a cousin of, I think Friedrich was the guy's name that started it, or maybe perhaps a mistress of his. All I know is that Betty's is a delight, and now I want to try other things. Look at those cheeky little rascals.
I just saw them. I guess it means it is cherry and almond.
Oh, okay.
Because that's double chocolate and that's orange and sultana.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we also picked up a hot cross bun because it's Easter, and I have never tried one. There are a lot of really cool looking shops and things. We did check out the one antique shop that was open and it was cool, but hopefully more will open later today. It is Easter, so unknown, but I would love to do a little bit more shopping, especially antique shopping here. Herget is probably most commonly known as being a popular spa town, which I think kind of died out in around the 60s when the Royal Spa, I think it was called, closed. The Turkish bath is still open. You could still go have a spa experience here, but it's not as popular as it was. I think from the Georgian times through the Victorian times is kind of when the spa town reign was. We're going to go into the Royal Pump Room Museum here and learn a little bit more about Herget and the spa history. Oh, automatic doors. Wasn't expecting that. I'm surprised by how much information about Herget outside of the spas that I've learned here. Like, they have this collection of jewelry from this person named Mrs. Hole Grundy, who was apparently an avid collector of jewelry and kind of is known for being part of the movement that revived jewelry. They have a bunch of her pieces here. There's some really cool looking pieces. As far as the spa history, one thing that I found very fascinating is that although there were some other prominent spa areas in Europe, Herget was really the first place to be called a spa town in the world, which is kind of wild. They have examples of what they would have done, and this is basically the steamer, the taps that hot water would have come out of, and they would have given you a massage while this water was running over you. They also have a lot about the history of the royal baths, which we walked by a little while ago, and I was amused to see that it's now a Chinese restaurant. The Royal Pump Museum is appropriately named because you can visit the actual pump room. There's a glass floor where you can see the sulfur well underneath, and they have a display of the water, some actual water from the well. I'm kind of sad that we don't get to try the water. Like, we came to Herget, we came to the spa town. I want to drink the spa water, but apparently the woman working here told us that it gets things moving, so maybe it's for the best, because we maybe don't want things. Yeah. I understand now. This picture in here, they're standing in the middle of the room serving the water. Basically serving water from this middle section right there. Oh, and then it would have been pumped up through this fountain. That's how they would get it. Can we just take a moment to talk about the fact that the people working there were lovely.
Very lovely.
And we each got different recommendations. I got recommended an art gallery that people will either love or hate. And you got recommended what seems like a way cooler thing.
We got recommended a blues bar with live music and a pint, so we obviously look really cool and fun. You look sophisticated.
And I look like I want to hate some art, I guess. That's Harry. He's famous. Everyone in town seems to know him and love him, and he does free walking tours. Because it's Easter Sunday, we decided a few days ago that we needed to book a proper Sunday lunch today. And so we did that, but didn't really think about the fact that we would also want cream tea at Betty's. So we started our morning pretty early there. And I don't know that enough time has passed for our Sunday lunch, but our reservation is here and we're doing it. We're having a proper Sunday lunch on Easter. When we were in Knaresborough, we only ate cream tea and that's what we had all day. So this kind of makes up for that, right?
Very true. Yeah, we're spreading the calories unevenly across the days. It's great.
We've come to the Fat Badger. We chose it because they had a booking available on Easter Sunday, but did not expect it to be so posh in here. This is one of the nicest pubs I've ever been in. Not only do they have Diet Coke in a glass bottle, but look at the size of that bottle. It's a big boy. That is a proper Yorkshire pudding right there. Josh and I each got Sunday lunch. I got beef and Josh got pork. That also came with stuffing, which looks pretty darn good.
I think there's even a bit of crackling on the side there.
Yeah, dang. And Jason got fish chips. Happy Easter to you.
Yeah.
That is a good Yorkshire pudding. The beef is so tender. This is a really, really good Sunday lunch. I think we lucked out with the reservation here because yum. A really good roast. One of the best I've probably had so far. And excellent sticky toffee pudding for dessert as well. We've made our way over to the Valley Gardens, checking out one of the many green spaces here in Herget. It's the perfect day for a stroll. Nice and sunny, things are in bloom. What more could you want?
An ice cream? I was going to say a nice coffee, but... Yeah, but you two had dessert, I didn't.
This place is massive, and it's, I think, one of the smaller green spaces here, right?
I think the Stray is much bigger.
Yeah, the Stray is a lot bigger. Hey, if you enjoyed this video so far, make sure you're subscribed and check out some of my other videos. I've seen the Yorkshire Dales, just did Knaresborough, all kinds of places. Make sure you subscribe and check those out. We'll, you know. I am so excited to see a car drive by. I am so excited to see this hotel. When I was a teenager, I was super into Agatha Christie. I was like a Agatha Christie crime novel super fan. And when I learned that she had disappeared and there was this strange story about how, I guess the story is that her husband told her that he was in love with another woman. He had a mistress that he was leaving her for, and she just suddenly disappeared. And it was something like 11 days later, with no one knowing where she had gone, that someone from the staff here at the hotel recognized her and said, oh, she's here in Herget at this hotel. And I just think that that's so interesting that she basically made herself an Agatha Christie novel, and I've wanted to visit this place ever since, and now we're here. A plaque here that says in 1926 that this is where she hid away in her 10-day disappearance. I just spoke to the gentleman working at the front desk, and he said that they're not 100% sure, but they do believe that Agatha Christie stayed in room 253. So you can book it and stay here where Agatha Christie disappeared to in 1926. And now I have my own reason to come back to Herget.
You might also have another reason to come back to Harrogate and stay here, because while you were in there, we noticed they now do murder mysteries here as well.
Yep, booking my next trip to Herget now. This pub says that it's the oldest pub in Herget and that it has original gas lights, but it doesn't look like it's open today, sadly. Jason also just pointed out that a couple of the windows are bricked over and that this town probably had a window tax. It's one of my favorite little random interesting things. I remember learning about traveling here and wondering why are some windows boarded up like that? Why is it that way? And then learning that it was because there used to be a tax. So you would basically board your windows up so you could pay less. And that is one of those little like gems that I think is really cool to kind of look around and see when you're traveling around here. That blues bar you guys were recommended is playing a pretty rockin' cover of Guns N' Roses right now. Are you sure you don't want to go in?
Judging by the way the windows are doing that with every drum beat, I think I'll give it a miss, but it looks pretty cool.
It looks hopping.
Yeah, and this didn't take 3 takes.
There is something very comical about the fact that we were just talking about how relaxed and chill the vibe is here, and then there's this rockin' bar happening, and the singer's like, "You're gonna die!" Oh, look at all the cherry blossoms. Beautiful. This is the Stray. This is a 200-acre grassland, and I think the cherry blossoms are one of the things that it's known for. And I think what I am very impressed by today is that it's a really nice sunny day. There's a lot of people out, but there's just so much greenery and park space around that it never feels crowded. There's plenty of room for us all. If you are considering visiting Herget, you should definitely come in the spring because the cherry blossoms here make it worth it. I feel like this is one of the highlights today for me. Cherry blossoms in every direction that you look. William Slingsby, I think he's the person who is credited with discovering the springs here in Herget and saying, hey, let's make this a spa town. But he discovered this well here, I think it's called Tuet Well, in 1571. He kicked things off. What a great vibe here. I didn't know what to expect about Herget, knowing that it was kind of a more posh, affluent area, but it is surprisingly relaxed and chill and just a really cool place to hang out. I cannot wait to come back and stay in the Old Swan at some point and explore more of Yorkshire. So please give me your recommendations for the next time that I'm in the area. What should I see? I've seen some of the Yorkshire Dales, one of my favorite places to visit. You should watch that video right here. I have had an amazing time the last few days with my friends Jason and Josh. I just want to give them a shout out because I am on my very first solo trip. I've never done anything like this before, and they have been a really good point for me to just kick off and kind of like get acclimated to solo travel. I am about to embark on a 2-week road trip through England and Wales. So make sure you're subscribed, stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one.